Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. To another video. What an intro. Anyways, today we're talking about the United States of America. Wow, there's so much to always talk about. Every year, every day, every minute, every second. But today we're talking about the US men's national team because the place that I live in, the place that I was born in, I have German heritage, I have Irish heritage, but the place I was born in, I am an American. I feel like my team is getting delusional. So we're going to talk about it. Now, international break, I know it's been a little slower. I know you guys were loving the Champions League content. I was going to do a video yesterday, but the games just all turned out to be a bit boring except the nighttime ones. By the way, if you guys are bored, you want to watch some international stuff, you're interested, watch the Asian Cup highlights. There was a lot of crazy in the Asian qualifying games that were crazy. So look, this happened yesterday, okay? If you don't know what already happened, well, I'm going to show you what happened. Watch this. Now, I commend Thierry Henry's aura as well, right? I also do commend that part of this. Dempsey, previous Clint Dempsey, U.S. national team player. One of our only players that really went over in Europe and did anything, slightly. We don't have too many. So look, if you missed the news story, we lost to Panama last night, okay? We got sent home. We got sent home in the CONCACAF Nations League Championship semifinal, right? Mexico went on to beat Canada. We're playing a third-place game against Canada. Mexico will play Panama in the final. Now, look, I am going to be the first to tell you guys this because, and you guys who play the sport, it is not easy to break down to beat a low block. It's not easy, okay? I play matches all the time when you play a team that plays a certain way. Obviously, it's not professional. It's not national team, but it's very tough to beat. You know, if it goes right for them, if they hang in the game, if they score an early goal, or if they just, obviously, like yesterday, they take their chance, it can be a very effective way to play football. The issue that I have is that this isn't a one-time affair, okay? The United States of America, okay, the team, all right, that represents this country, got sent out of their own Copa America host by Panama, if you don't already remember last summer. Now, out of the good of my heart, I just didn't even make a rant video because I was like, what did I just watch, okay? So the same team, all right, just sent us home packing. Can somebody tell me, I mean, people will say, okay, well, Uruguay only has 4 million people that live there. How many people live in Panama? 4 million people. 4 million people. And in the USA currently, 340 million people. Okay, so we are now getting owned by Panama twice. Pretty much you could say, yeah, in the last 8-9 months. Okay, in the 2 times we've played them. And both times you could argue, obviously we're hosting, right? It's in the USA. So for me personally, this is getting a little out of hand, but where it gets even more out of hand, okay? So I was on record in my streams, before we really started this channel. A lot of people were asking me, yo, what's your expectations for the USA in the last World Cup? I said, look, I don't see these guys being a top 8 team. There was a period in time when we had played England to the draw and we had the possession moments in that World Cup where everybody was getting really ahead of themselves saying, well, we can make a run. And I said, look, we're playing the Netherlands round of 16. I'm not loving that one, right? So what happened there? Or was it the round of 16 or the round of 8? Either way, faced the Netherlands, obviously a team that is just way more respectable than us currently. They took care of us, no problem. Okay, so now, it's going a little out of context, right? But Pochettino in a recent interview, I think it was on Sky Sports or something, all right? He says that we can win the World Cup. Okay, he says this. He says, with the USA, everyone behind, we can win the World Cup. Okay, guys, for me personally, a lot of people were upset at me, okay, when I was very critical about the USA in the last World Cup, saying, I don't see us winning a World Cup. This team, people are painting this USA team currently as this God squad, this golden generation, right? So basically what happens is that we have this scapegoat. If you guys don't remember, we had a manager this summer that, I'll be honest, guys, the tactics, how he went out and played the team, it was horrendous. Burkhalter, I think was his name. I mean, it was just Turismo ball. It was not good. All right, so they booted him out. The Federation eventually got him out, and now they bring in Pochettino, a massive deal they got to bring him in. I've had my personal, because people ask me, I've had my personal questions with Pochettino over the years. Has he really been able to ever push through the finish line? I said this when he took the Chelsea. What we've seen from him on display from Spurs, PSG, the Chelsea stint didn't last long. And the thing is, this guy never really won anything outside of the PSG title that he won. And it's like, a PSG League One title. It's the same as a Bayern Munich Germany title. It's just, you don't put as much value on it as that if he had went to Spurs and never closed out the deal there and got a trophy. So for me personally, look, would I rather have Berghalter or Pochettino coaching the U.S. national team? Obviously, Pochettino. Anybody saying that in the other way is delusional at this point. But the fact of the matter is, it's very disappointing to see the USA, all right, such a large nation. All right, we have footballers right now like Pulisic, Robinson, players playing very well abroad, still struggling at times. Look, we had almost 70% possession yesterday, 12 shots. We should have got something out of the game, and we're still struggling against these low block teams. I don't know what needs to change there, but something needs to change because us going out in interviews, especially with our manager, I know it's one thing because, I had a criticism in a stream today where someone says, well, do you want Pochettino if he's asked, right? If he says, okay, in an interview, if someone says, hey, Pochettino, do you think the United States can win the World Cup? Do you want your manager of your host nation, right? It's like if you were, I don't want to say England because England are much better than us, right? In terms of what they have been getting result-wise, even with Southgate. We've got second place in all these tournaments, right? But a nation that's close to us, like in that maybe like 10 to 20 ranking, right? So do you want your manager to go out there and say, hey, we can win a World Cup if there's no way we can't win a World Cup just to get that message and that hype? Like, guys, me personally, I think it's important to be realistic. I think saying something like that is nuts. Like, the problem is that I think people are missing, like, that next level team. We're talking like Brazil, Spain, Germany, Argentina, Uruguay. I mean, I know we played Uruguay to 0-0. For me, guys, those teams are so much more ahead than us. So for us to be going out, especially losing to Panama now twice in 9 months, it's just it doesn't sit right with me personally. So I don't know what needs to change. If we were to pull up and look up the we look up the lineup the way we went out yesterday. I mean, this is how we look, right? So Pulisic at the 10, Weah, McKennie, Adams. I mean, the midfield is there. But, guys, I'm looking at this saying, man, I feel like the place I'm living, the USA, we are so beyond delusional for saying that this 11, or whoever's missing from this 11, right? Because there's some players missing from this 11, in and off with injuries, whatever. Reyna 1 year is playing well, the next year he's not. For us to be looking at this team objectively, all right, and saying that we can win the World Cup, I don't think we can win the World Cup with this team. I don't know. You guys could call me crazy. You guys, wherever you're from in the world, look at that team, bro, and tell me dead ass in the eyes that we're going to be able to win the World Cup. And I don't care. I don't care if people are labeling me as a U.S. hater. I try my best on this channel to stay away from bias. I have no bias here. I just think it's crazy that we're looking at that squad. We're looking at the performances. When we play teams, we really seem to struggle against Panama specifically. And a lot of these games where, we really need to win. The fact of the matter is, guys, we've been struggling a lot more recently. Even with Pochettino, we lost to Mexico. Mexico wins 3-1 yesterday or whatever, 2-0. But this is Mexico's worst team they've had in the last couple of years in terms of, like, not this year, but they've just been horrible. Look, for me, the whole Copa America, it just was not good, right? We lost to Uruguay. We lost to Panama. We beat Bolivia, who's terrible. We've been losing to Canada. For us to be going out on record and saying that, it doesn't sit the right way with me. Whatever happens against Canada this Sunday, this team ultimately needs a reality check. The manager, I don't like what I see. I mean, for us to be a FIFA number 16, it's generous. And I got to be honest, I'm very worried about this World Cup because I think that the U.S. is kind of doing this to themselves. We're trying to put out this narrative that we got this golden generation. We're so good. Guys, I've been watching the U.S. football for a while. Growing up, we watch the World Cups. We watch all this stuff. We had a team with Dempsey and Donovan. We had that one run in the World Cup, playing Ghana. That run we had, we did well that time, right? We're putting so much stock and hype into this being some golden generation, and honestly, I've hardly seen any results. I mean, our biggest results, our biggest flex is that, like, we're playing Netherlands in a knockout match. We don't go on from there, and that we win these. What do you call these? Like gold cups, whatever. Like, we can't even get out of a Nations League semifinal against Panama. It's just disgraceful to be hearing that. So, look, I hope that U.S. continues to grow in football. We're seeing more players go over and play in Europe and play well, seeing players contribute. I still think that the internal problem here is that we have these money-hungry owners in the MLS who will never get on board with agreeing to do with relegation and promotion because they just want to keep their spot. Which, as an owner, if you went in their perspective, I guess it makes sense. But, I know that everyone's now saying, okay, the USL, which is the second division in America, they're adding this promotion relegation. But as long as the first league, which is the MLS, where all the best players, who want to go play in America, go play, nothing is going to change in terms of the development here, the system we have with college. The players that are playing the best in the USA are the ones that are going over to Europe early or getting there eventually, developing over there. So, look, until something systematically changes in the US, I don't expect to see any golden generation. I don't expect to see any World Cup winning USA team. And I'm sorry to anyone that's watching this as American and you think this is just pessimistic. It's just kind of rubbing me the wrong way that I'm seeing like people in this country writing this stuff on Twitter. It's crazy to me. How are you going to go win a World Cup or like contend for a World Cup? Let's say top 4, and you can't even beat low block Panama twice in 9 months. And they're the ones sending you out of your own Copa America and now sending you out of, a Nations League where you're hosting in the home country. Crazy. So anyways, let me know your thoughts, guys, if you watch the game. I'm going to have another video this weekend about another thing, so watch out for that. And thanks for watching, guys. See you guys later. Peace.